beginning
to
like this
him in
because,
that time
you know,
frame.
there's 35,000
So,
people trying,
it's
they're all
pretty
trying
cool.
to, it was great.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 2:08 PM for the Special Events Review Committee. With us today, we have Hillary from licensing, Wes Anderson from the from the Public Works Department. We have the Police Department here. Charlie Rofo from the Fire Department, and Amy from Parks. Karen will be doing the minutes, and I'm Robert Morris here from the Planning Department. We're going to continue off from the only thing we had on the agenda for yesterday, which was for PL 2019-0114 for the Union Ave Block Party for Chaos and Kindness. You guys have brought in a lot of information for us. If you just want to go over everything with us
Yep,
and make sure we can dot all the i's and cross all the t's.
you got it. So, the first page here is a map of the area. Michelle's property. You wanna come up and join in on the map portion? We all sat in and went over this together to make sure that it's laid out appropriately. So this is the one that they have right here. First, and then this
Okay.
one second. So,
This one just shows the route of the shuttle
yep.
and the drop off.
I don't know if you guys can see it clearly, but on this first one here, this area here is the route of the shuttle that we'll be taking. Sanborn Park has since been taken off of the parking equation. Did you get that email? It just happened an hour and a half ago.
I do have the email.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
So it's not parking anymore?
We're not, yeah, no, we don't want to be responsible for tearing up your property. So, and we secured other additional parking in the area to compensate for that,
Okay.
to offset that. We really appreciate you allowing use of that, but I don't want to tear up your field. Let's see, what else do we have? Fisher Auto Parts currently is pending corporate, which is why we secured additional parking if in the event, which would be considered additional parking, not official parking. Belknap Tire is parking officially for us. Any of the official parking up close will be considered and used first for handicap or special needs. The, what is that, the railroad freight? I
the
call it the
shuttle
glass
drop-off.
building. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
the glass building.
yes. the glass building.
The glass
marina.
building, marina, is gonna be the shuttle bus drop-off, as well as overflow for special needs or handicap accessibility there. Then, looking at, that's everything for here, right?
Yeah, it just shows the.
Property access.
The access, the property,
Yep.
being the granite steps on the Wild Trail.
Second map is a layout of O-Pee-Chee Inn and Spa parking lot, also the event location. If you take a look, the entrance, anything you see is a smiley, a circle smiley, those are people. Those are volunteers, happy, smiling volunteers. So we'll have two that'll be checking people at the main entrance of O-Pee-Chee Inn. Anybody that is allowed access in will be on a list that includes any vendors, any entertainment, any reservations made at O's Restaurant, as well as in guests that will be placarded in the window. The second smiley that you see cruising down right there in front of the dirt lot is a volunteer that'll be manning the traffic as well as overseeing the porta potties that will be set there. Continuing on, this pass-through, that's one of our barricades, right? Right there?
Yep, the blue is the pass-throughs.
Yeah. Your map is easier.
Yeah, I know, mine's in color.
We don't have color, so if you can just
Yep.
Absolutely.
give us a location.
So this, we're talking about this area right here, this first arrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So we created two pass-throughs through the barricades to narrow down and alleviate just mass crowds crossing the road. We're at an advantage because everyone checking into the inn is checking in on Friday. And then most of them are attending weddings where we have a shuttle coming from the wedding locations. So the traffic on Saturday is gonna be minimal, which is really, we're just have an advantage that day for that purpose. As well as the spa has a couple of appointments in the morning and the rest is in guests. So again, that will eliminate a lot of the traffic going onto the property. It'll be the employees of the restaurant, the employees of the spa, of the inn. But again, they'll be on location and they'll stay, so.
So those smiley faces right there with those arrows are also volunteers that'll be helping with crossing traffic if need to, people on foot. This section right here, let me show your map because
Yeah, go
that's a
for it.
little pretty. Or this is what you're actually looking like if it was in color. This is the I Love Lucy days.
Yeah, use the big one.
Oh, that's even better. Awesome. I love this lady right here. She's amazing. So this right here, this is gonna be, the parameter. This area here is gonna be sectioned off still, at this point for reservations and O's Steakhouse guests. These blue, boxes here indicate vendors. Correct, vendors and food trucks, which will carry over to this area as well. Stage is gonna be kitty corner, catty corner, whatever region of the state you're from. I say kitty corner or catty. And then we'll have a volunteer here manning the restaurant, making sure that no alcohol leaves the restaurant. That's a conversation that we've had with the O's owner, that this is a non-alcoholic event. We will also have, oh, we didn't put smiley people over here. Well,
Oh, we missed our smiley.
that's okay. We'll have happy volunteers and potentially police detail, I'm assuming, to help with crossover. This is with the idea that we're going to be lifting the traffic order. We're not going to be blocking Union Ave. We're trying to alleviate that and go to the contained idea here. Are there any questions as far as these maps are concerned?
What are your barricades? Where it says barricades and it shows around, like down by the walking area, and then what are those?
They're actually just like a 2x4 with A-frame on the ends.
Okay.
So they're pretty easy to knock down or get out of the way of.
All right.
Charlie,
so
you're probably familiar with them.
all of your people will be in that area that you've designated.
Yep, the lawn area is also, if you look on the map, there's a line midway on the lawn towards the inn entrance. That lawn area can be utilized as well, and that's another reason why we're trying to control the human walking across that driveway.
So
Because when the
you-
fireworks happen, that, they're gonna be on that lawn.
Okay, but during the course of the event, do you want to incorporate the lawn area or not incorporate? Because I have to calculate occupancy here.
Okay, I mean,
No, it's your property.
I think we should, because I think it's automatically gonna happen, and I think if we can control it and know where they're gonna be, then,
And be ready for it.
yeah.
Okay, so just a couple of things looking at, because you're creating a physical barrier, even though it's just 2x4s and A-frames, we need to have an exit of pretty good width along that back parking lot that you're holding out. I mean, you can.
Where
go-
O is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Here.
because you've got the barricade with the food truck line. Oh, sure. I need to have another exit here, because the exits can't be that close together. It
Yep.
has to be an alternative. There
Okay.
is the staircase,
Yeah.
but it's kind of hard to incorporate that into it as an egress.
Would you prefer it in the middle, or would you prefer it,
It's
it's gonna have to be in a lane? 'cause
It's
if
where,
there's
it's, yeah,
cars
it's
here.
wherever you want to put it. I mean, whatever
Okay.
convenient for you. If there's something here, I can't have everybody be independent on going there. I want to have an alternative.
And this here is optional, it's not, coming down the hill is not necessarily a need.
Right. Yeah,
So-
it's a pretty good slope.
That was more or less just for keeping away from the stage and
Stage.
equipment.
Okay, all right.
Charlie, do they need, do they need the barricade where the food trucks are gonna be, or could the food trucks be your barricade?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Would that be allowed?
Scott's suggestion was that the trucks could be the barricade.
Yeah.
But the other concern is
Yeah, the only issue is I don't want to have people wending between food vendors with propane tanks and,
and electrical lines and.
yeah, it's, so if we can just, I don't care where it is, it's as long as we can designate an alternative exit.
okay,
So
so here.
just for me, a couple of other things. I will incorporate that grass area into your occupancy, so I'll give you a definitive number. The back gates that go out onto Moulton, are they open or closed?
They're currently closed. The concern is that you're gonna end up with a lot of people parking all over Moulton Street, and, one of the things with this whole thing that I'm concerned about is I was trying to keep that back, Moulton Street and the back access straight behind the building as a fire lane all the way straight through, because it's gonna be the quickest way to get to the event, as opposed to trying to go around and come down the hill by the lake.
Okay,
So I was keeping that closed.
okay.
Concern.
Is there some way that they can be closed and unsecured?
Yes.
For emergency.
Yep, absolutely.
So if we do have to push people out that road to get out, that we can, or if we have to get in from the backside.
The only,
Absolutely.
and the only thing that's back there right now are employee cars of both the N and O's, as well as any vendor vehicles or entertainment vehicles. That's it.
Because I do have to incorporate those back exits
Okay.
into the calculations for occupancy, so.
Absolutely.
There are two gates, probably both gonna be closed but unsecured, or maybe zip tied, so people just.
Yeah, they don't have to be secure, yeah.
Just something we can get through quickly if we have to. Okay, good for now.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the maps?
So you said you have 2 volunteers on Union Ave in front of your storefront, along with possibly a police detail to facilitate traffic crossing the street there?
Yes, well, we'll have at least 2 on each side. So 4 in total in that section. Spread them out.
Are you going to be using Clinton Street for any of the VIP entrance into the store?
No, we'll have everybody lined in,
Okay, so you're going to have people kind of wrapping down the sidewalk along Clinton Street?
correct.
Okay,
The idea is to not block or any streets.
okay.
We have the porta potties. The last time I was out there's big piles of dirt and
You think?
sewer
Where?
tiles and.
In her area, the dirt area?
Yes. Yeah, there's big piles, a lot of stuff, and apparently it's staying for a while. I have talked to, I keep wanting to call him Brian Gray.
Brian Good?
I'm good.
Thank you, yes. Brian Good, about making sure that there's enough area there. It was open, but now they've got a pile of some more dirt and stuff, so they're gonna push all that back and have it out of the way.
We have it mapped out right now on, this is skipping ahead, but the rental agreement between us and the porta potty company is in your packet. 18 porta potties, or 18 regular, 2 handicap, so 20 in total, with 4 wash stations. The service will be, we're gonna assess as we go. Based on their professional assessment, 20 is sufficient. It's based on the number of people projected is factored with the number of porta potties in addition to the frequency of it being serviced. So right now, we've got 3 hours, every 3 hours it'll be serviced, and if we need to amp that up as crowd shows up, we're gonna assess that in and throughout the day. So they're actually gonna have their truck on property behind the porta potty to watch and man those throughout the day.
To come up with that number for every 3 hours based on the amount you have, what is the estimated number of patrons that you guys used for a factor?
I told her to be expecting anywhere between, and this is not a real number. I can't remember the original number. I'd be lying to you on record, and I don't know. We came up with 20. That was a very gross exaggeration. It started out at 8 was the projection. We increased it then to 20. She said, we'll leave it at 20. That's more than enough. She had an average. It was dependent upon the servicing of hours. And I believe if you're servicing every 3 hours based on 10, she said that's 5,000 people, if I'm remembering correctly. We have 20.
We run 36 for Bike Week, to give you an order of magnitude.
So if 10 would do 5,000 people every 3 hours, then the estimate then would be 10,000 people.
If I
Kind of played with numbers.
if that's accurate. I mean, I'm just going based on her guesstimation calculator, but It sounded like it was not so much fixated on the number as it was in addition to the frequency of servicing.
Okay.
But if Bike Week, how many, you have 36 serviced, how frequent?
Once a day.
There you have it. And that's
No,
based on how many
No,
people?
it's not though. All I was asking was, at some point, your conversation with Best Septic said, this is how many estimated people we're doing, because every X number of hours, I need to clean it. I'm just kinda curious what that number was. There had to
I
be
don't
a
know.
number in there. Yeah, we had to say, we're estimating, cause if I was gonna have a birthday party, and I was gonna estimate 20 people would be at my house, and I wanted one, we would know what that number is. If I'm having 10,000, there's a number. So that's all I was trying to find out. I'm just trying to see what
I
you
don't-
used for a factor.
I don't know. I wasn't
Okay.
fixated
fine.
on that so much. I went above and beyond what she originally suggested. Her original suggestion, based on a possibility of anywhere between 5 to 10,000 people, was 8 porta potties. We increased it to 20. And I said, even if it turns into every person gets their own porta potty, we'll put a plaque with their name on it and let
okay.
them enjoy their throne, was the conversation. Is there any other questions regarding porta potties?
Just to make a note for your shuttle service, I'm sure it's just a typo, but it says, for Saturday, September 17th. Should just make a note that it's for the 21st.
What's that?
Is it in the letter?
Are you talking about the
Or the
clean
letter
and bring?
from the shuttle?
For the shuttle from the Student Transportation Service of Rochester, New Hampshire, confirming our partnership on Saturday, September 17th.
No, that was just a typo on her end. I didn't catch it.
So, just to validate.
Hopefully she'll-
it really
Today
means
being the
21st.
17th, that's a
Oh,
non-existent
shoot,
date.
yeah.
See, unless she wrote it on the 17th.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
exa-
that's
that's
I'm sure that's what she was thinking was the 17th.
She wrote it
today.
on the 17th,
So
so.
Yeah.
Right. That was a phone
Yeah.
call at 7:30 this morning, so I'm sure she was still going. All right.
So you're not looking to use, you won't be on the public streets at all, you won't be closing any roads?
Nope.
Okay.
We have another map that wasn't included in the packet. This is just to give you an idea, the shuttle route from Tavern 27. We're gonna have 5 school buses, 6 on standby as a handicap and/or additional if need to.
Okay.
It has a ramp.
For the people's, what kind of security or volunteers do you have for the people that are gonna be standing in line to get into the store?
We'll have them separated between general public and VIP from the 9 to 11 hour, roped off if need to, just depending upon the spacing of it and making sure, of course, it's organized, but we'll have volunteers spread out in and throughout the line every so often, just to keep it maintained.
Where's the line gonna go?
Down, for VIP, we're gonna wrap it around Clinton Street if we have to, around to the back, and then back up the front if need to. We're gonna potentially, we're not releasing this, but we may end up having the boys in a general area of the store, but not necessarily within, to help traffic flow and keep it going. So that's gonna be dependent upon. And then once we get the occupancy number, we have clickers ready to roll. So however many people we're allowed to have in at any given time, we'll have somebody, at least 1 to 2 people on the door. I would like to have 2, that'll be manning that.
Okay, so just so you're aware, when I calculate the occupancy, I'm gonna do it in 2 different ways. One is your clickers, and 2 is a zone. So if I see that this paving area is totally covered with people, I'll know what that occupancy number is supposed to be. Clickers, if you're not really.
I think she's talking about the
Click-
store.
In the store.
Clicker is,
Talking about
Oh, the store, oh, I'm
clicker
sorry.
is isolated to the
sorry.
store. Holy
would
goodness, that
have-
would be a job and a half for someone.
Oh, good, because we
Oh,
weren't,
Just
we
2
weren't-
at the door.
Count
we
you.
weren't gonna do that
Hold
one.
on.
I was gonna
Okay,
say, all
good.
right.
My mistake.
Well, I would have
Oh,
2 clickers.
I'm out. I'm out.
One sore thumb.
You want 2 clickers at your door. 1 clicking people in, 1 clicking people out. So then you do the math. So if 500 people clicked in and 400 people clicked out, you have 100 people in the store. That's how you should have your clickers. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Good math.
easy right there.
All right.
Algebra anyway.
Do we have any other questions related to that before we move on to vendors?
And I just think in your notes, how are your volunteers identified?
How are they? They'll be
wear
in,
shirts,
they'll be in
vests?
special shirts.
What will that special shirt look like so we know?
That will be very recognizable.
That doesn't tell us what they'll look like,
I
though.
mean, aside from billboard, neon
Red,
lights and
orange,
flames.
green.
But normally we use like a
I'm
bright
not
orange or
100%
bright yellow or
sure.
something like that, so.
I'm not sure just yet, but it'll be very distinguished.
When do you think
or
you'll know that by?
The word I'm looking for.
Maybe by Friday?
I'm not sure. They'll be identifiable, that will stand out from anyone else.
Let's say like staff on the back or
Event staff,
event staff.
or grand opening staff.
These are
Volunteer.
things that we
Printed
need
it
to
down.
be able to note in our plans, though, so any officer that comes in, he reads a plan, he knows, oh, that person is volunteer, he's with them.
Okay.
So these are things that we need to be able to plan ahead for, so we can let everybody else know
It'll
what's
be a
coming.
bright neon colored shirt. I don't know what color specifically yet, but it'll be neon in color.
We'll say something on it.
I wish I could tell you a color specifically, but we have a lot of different colors in our store, so I want to make sure that we're doing something completely separate than anything else we've got. Correct. It'll be very recognizable. I don't even wear event shirts. I don't get to hide. Any other questions?
I
on
have
that?
one on the parking
Mm-hmm.
for Tavern 27, so it's 9 acres.
Yes.
So fireworks go off at dark,
Uh-huh.
and you have all these people that go back there and get dropped off by shuttle buses. Can we get some portable lights up there? One to light the entrance to the road. Parade Road is a pretty high-speed road,
Yep.
so I'm a little concerned about that, but then also throughout the field itself.
Mm-hmm.
If people are walking through that field and they have kids or whatnot, I don't want to see somebody get hit, and it's gonna be pitch black out there
Okay.
when they come back, so a half a dozen generator lights would be very helpful to light up that field.
I'll talk to the owner, Ray, on that. I believe he has lights ready to go for this.
I think another place you should have a light too is that crossing to your store. I mean, it's a lit intersection, but it's unusual for you to have that many people crossing the road.
Okay.
What time is the store closing?
As of right now, we're gonna be keeping it open for the duration of the event, just for this purpose, for the event purpose. We're taking up reservations on certain things that we have going on in the store up until, let me look. We're about to launch this, which if you hear Guns N' Roses playing on my phone in 15 minutes, that's an alarm so I can throw it live.
That's a special surprise at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yes,
Secret.
that
Guns
is.
N' Roses is
Secret.
coming.
Guns N' Roses
No,
plan.
that's my alarm. If you,
Roses?
patience, I wake up to
Bring it up,
patience
Peachy.
every morning. If you guys are annoyed with waking up to an alarm, put something very soothing like Patience, Guns N' Roses. You wake up to whistling. It's very soothing. Okay, so we've got, what time did we cut this off? I believe 10 PM we stopped taking appointments on that. No, 9 PM. So the end of the event is kind of where we're at with that, but that'll be isolated to the store. That'll be launched shortly.
What's the appointment? Is it a meet and greet, or what's the?
Appointment, things you can do within the store. It's within the store, not the event
Oh.
itself.
That's starting at 9 PM
No, it'll end,
and at 9 PM.
correct.
So when will the doors to the store be closed and everybody out?
We'd like to have everybody out no later than 11, if need to. We don't want to push people out, but
Where the porta potties are, is there any barrier behind those to keep people out of that construction area?
We were gonna talk to them about lining the trucks up behind it. I mean, there's nothing keeping them out now.
Yeah, just when the fireworks go off, that might be an area that people try to get over to
Yeah.
get a better view, so.
Yeah, we can kind of congregate some of the volunteers at that point to keep them out of that area. They'll
There'll be
fine
a-
enough on the sand.
and there'll be a porta potty service truck over there too, barricading the back of that.
So Wendy, can you commit to those light towers for the parking lot and the crossing?
Yes, I'll make sure that there's lights at both locations.
You need light towers at the crossing on Elm at Railroad, because if you're gonna put the
Well, I think the
shuttle bus pickup point on the other side,
Yeah, I think the shuttle bus should drop off at the top of the hill and then do that pattern without having people cross the road.
you start
The only
widening
thing
out
is there's not
beyond the
gonna be
entrance.
transportation, I mean, people can't walk down the hill. That hill is gonna be just for driving, so people will be dropped off over by Erica Blizzard's place. They'll use the crosswalk there and have volunteers on both
down
sides
the
for the
stairs.
crosswalk and go down the cement steps from the WOW trail. So that'll be the way in and out, and that will keep the road down to Lake Opeechee open for just vehicles.
Gotcha.
And that way we don't have to worry about anybody walking in vehicles at the same time.
Just human nature, I can tell you, they're not gonna walk up to the intersection to cross. They're gonna go right across at the railroad.
That might be a
over the
place where they have a
guardrail?
police detail too
Pardon?
or so.
Go over the guardrail. Oh, you mean walk up to,
So,
okay, yeah.
yeah, they'll walk straight across, hit the
Yeah.
wider sidewalk on the other side, then go up. I mean, just human nature.
And that's why we were thinking the volunteers should be there.
Right.
and
I
possibly
see jaywalking every day.
That's probably your riskier crossing just because of right turning traffic coming off of Union, how close it is to
Yeah.
the signalized intersection.
And the thought about not having the bus stop there, it would not stop traffic either. So them pulling in there and dropping off would keep the traffic on Elm Street flowing.
So we're looking for a light over at the drop-off point and a
You're gonna
light.
have to do,
I think a light right
but
where
you're
the,
gonna have to more light
where
than the
the entrance
decorative
is.
that's there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a light right where the entrance is, and then it's gonna depend on the flow of traffic, I guess, for
Yeah, 'cause that-
where's it gonna be better. That might have to change
The
as we
top-
go.
Light at the entrance of
the
OPG
top
and
platform in the park isn't lit, so you won't have any light there.
What entrance are you referring to?
When you look at off the WOW trail, that little
Oh, your stair,
brick
the stairs.
stairway's not lit up top, so there's no lighting up there. And you're basically along Elm Street itself, you just got the decorative street lighting, which works well, but it doesn't really light up people who are trying to cross the street or across
We'll
from the
have-
railroad.
Okay. And then I'll talk to him about.
Maybe Amy can
Yeah,
suggest
the only
where
light
they
you
get
got by
lighting
that
from when
stairs
you
is
guys
at the
do
bottom of the stairs.
Fireworks and stuff over at the OPG.
So they're stuck in the ground at Opeechee, but MB Tractor has been very good about giving me, they have those portable lights
Okay.
at a reasonable price.
I'll check with them. If not, I'll check with our light and sound company. See if we can add some more.
Now, if you're gonna use that route for the shuttle buses, we need to make sure that we don't have a large number of cars parked on Fourth Street, Gold, and Railroad, otherwise you won't be able to get the shuttle buses through.
We'll be mentioning on Facebook and all of our social media and anything that related to helpful instruction around this. You know, encouraging people to use parking lots, not to be parking on streets. There will be additional parking available that is not official parking with us. If you look at the parking on one of the sheets I provided with you, it has Kalina listed up at the top. So the official parking places are Tavern 27, the 9 Acre Field, Belknap Tire, I always say that wrong. Robbins Auto is pending, and then the Lakeport Arena. Those are, with the exception of Tavern 27, like I said before, those are all designed for special needs or handicap. And then there's the engraving place, which we'll list as additional parking option available, but it's not our parking. There'll be a charge for that. Anything with a charge associated with it is not ours. Or anybody outside of this list is not officially ours and doesn't fall under our event. There's another local business that has a collective 2.5 acres that I think he said 150 spots he could open up. There'll be parking charge for that. Superintendent contacted me first thing this morning. The 4 schools, all schools with the exception of the high school, are allowing parking in their parking lot. One for sure will be raising money. They'll be charging for a specific charity. The others might follow suit with that, but again, that's not our official parking, that'll be additional offered. So we won't be offering shuttle service to that, we won't be advertising that as official, that's just,
So the parking that's going on in the schools will be managed via the schools, is what you're saying?
correct. And that was my understanding as well with the or the message that was given by the superintendent. They have a student group and their PTO is running that.
PTO at Elm Street.
Did you hear that conversation too? Or, okay. She's always so smiley, I like it.
There was the concern about the parking for the turnaround. What I was thinking is, can you do the temporary no parking by police on the Moulton Street, Mechanic Street, and around that Forest Street area? So it says temporary no parking for order the police, and that way people aren't parking there. And as you have police officers go through, just like Pumpkin Fest, those would be tow-away zones, or so that way you're not worrying about people, the fire trucks going down Moulton Street if need be, or the turnaround for the buses. Plus, obviously, Mechanic Street's very thin, and that's a direct area.
Space. Yeah. I know, I wish I had a gavel for
I don't
you.
like microphones.
I don't either.
I don't know if that's something that's feasible to do.
I think we'll have to take a look at it.
We'll manage that.
I think some of those we were planning on doing anyways. Some of those streets need to be posted anyways, just because we can't lose all those streets in Lakeport.
Yep.
And at the end of the event, people will be able to access your road to get out of the site when the fireworks are done?
What road?
I'm sorry.
Oh, the
Your main
ramp?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So we'll have to plan on pretty much effectively shutting off Elm Street
Yeah.
for a certain amount of time, because once fireworks are done, people are gonna go up, so we'll have to,
And pretty much the
Plan 'em.
buses will have to be lined up that point to just take people out.
Yep.
Kind of like after school, they'll have them lined, just pile them up and send them up.
At the end of the grass area, you guys have you have we'll call it a quasi little boat ramp kind of thing, like it was, probably from 100 years ago there. There's a little,
Yep,
is that technically your property?
yes.
Okay. Can I tie off a boat there?
No.
Okay. That's the only thing this was hinging on. This was it.
Is it your personal boat?
No.
Or is
No, I'm not here talking about personal stuff. I'm trying to get this
And
squared
yes,
away 3 days
yes,
before.
we can-
I want to tie a boat up because I don't have one in Opeachy because we have the 2 barges out there plus everything else.
Then you can,
So,
absolutely.
okay.
Personal boat.
Yeah, no, I'd be glad to,
Thank
but
you.
I think we're just gonna watch the fireworks.
no, I don't.
Not gonna
I can't afford a boat.
Yes, there's a light post there that people.
We can just use that.
They tie planes and boats to, yes.
Okay. Well, if it holds a plane, it
Yes,
it should
okay.
work for my boat. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can too, Amy.
Thanks. Mine's gonna be personal though.
For you.
Yeah. You get my kid into camp, you're good.
On the email too, the vendors were provided. Are there any questions regarding that? I know that was on the contingency list.
Yep, I got that, I'm good with that.
Okay?
Do you have any issues with that, Hillary?
If the vendors aren't changing them, we're good.
Okay.
Nope. And they're very happy to be a part of it. Every one of them are a different food.
Do they have correct estimates for volume of guests or should be expected?
Yeah, I had that conversation with them yesterday after Dean's concern, and they said that they do fairs all the time, so they're generally prepared for 10 to 20,000 if at any point. So
Okay.
they didn't seem to be it wasn't a blip on their radar.
Okay.
Which is
Do the
good.
Do the food vendors have a specific time to be on site?
Their setup is, we're able to start setting up at 7 a.m. They know to be ready to serve at 10. So whatever time they need between 7 and 10 to be ready, that's on them.
Guess what time were they setting up?
They're all going to be, every food truck's a little bit different. Some require an hour, some are 2. They're allowed to come in as soon as 7 a.m. as long as they're ready to go by 10 to serve. Right in the middle of the VIP window,
Okay.
an hour before the event starts to the general public.
Have you thought about setting up the stage the day before on Friday?
For what,
For the,
for what,
the bands.
is there a concern there?
I think that it might be the easiest, so that if there's any concerns with electrical or with the building inspector going out there, or
Yeah.
or even Charlie, if they wanted to go out there, and then you wouldn't have to pay that extra into escrow.
If we did
If
what?
you had that stage set up on Friday, so they could inspect it on Friday as opposed to showing up on Saturday.
Friday's the day of work.
Is an inspection, is that normal?
Yeah,
Okay.
so, but the problem, I mean, I guess the problem there would be, leaving the electrical, like if you're gonna
Right.
check, you don't need the speakers and all of that there for that inspection, or do you?
That's up to Joe.
When we did the, dare I bring it up, the tattoo,
No, all right, I'm getting, I'm getting some information from the back that, we don't need the speakers, so. It's just the supply,
okay, which is generator?
so it would be the
Yeah,
generator,
generator.
have your power source that you're gonna have set up out there.
Generated
Yeah, we'll have to
distribution
do that the
point.
morning of then, because that, we don't want that living outside overnight. Our
Okay.
sound and light company, it's the same company that does all the NASCAR races
Okay,
here.
so they'll do that Saturday morning then?
Yes,
Okay,
To be honest,
the,
without somebody out there watching that parking lot?
no, I understand that completely,
Yeah.
so,
Oh, come on.
no,
We
I'd
all
rather,
get it.
it's just looking
Oh,
at options.
see?
Just looking at options.
isn't that nice? That's what I wake up to every morning. Excuse me for a second.
The,
It's live.
while she's doing that, so the Molten Street is a concern of mine to make sure that it does stay open for the fire lane, because it's often blocked by cars, even on a regular day, so that is a big concern of mine.
And you did contact all the
I
people.
did contact all of the residents on that road, because they don't like it when the gate's open, so I did let them know that there may be some more traffic than normal.
Good portion of Molten's already permanently posted for no parking.
Yeah. Yeah,
All they need to have is the sign, and then they can take care of the rest.
yeah.
All right, how about trash service?
Krista, you said, oh, in West, we are still able to use the
Yep.
15 to 20?
You just need to tell us how many and where you want them dropped.
Perfect. We're placing them, right?
Yep, you're placing them, we'll just put them in a central location wherever you want them.
If you want to, at the event site, and we'll place them in and throughout. Is that okay
'cause
with
we'll
you?
drop them off Friday to keep your costs down, so we need someplace where they're out of the way.
Say the dirt
on
lot,
Friday.
the porta potty area? Would that work?
Yep, or right when you
bottom of the
come
hill.
down onto the property and take that immediate left, so it's already on the tar,
Okay.
in that corner.
Okay,
Come down onto the property, you take the immediate left, just that corner tucked right there, because nothing's
Okay.
going there on the plan.
I'm thinking either.
got it, okay, got it.
Get rid of these on Friday.
And when do you have someone who is going to be picking up trash during the day?
Yes, volunteers in and throughout the day, and we have a 20-yard dumpster that was just emptied and will be emptied if need to, but won't need to be.
Very good.
Put 'em- put the cans down here on the pavement,
Yes.
then they'll just spread 'em out.
So Wes, you don't need any sort of escrow for anything like that with the dumps, with the
No,
garbage
it's
cans?
just-
So they're good with you?
As
for-
long as she makes sure the guys don't use our cans for their props, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey, that was me.
Yeah.
Because we'll drop it off on normal time, we'll pick up not till Monday, so we're holding the overtime down.
That's fine.
And the trick is, after you're finished on Saturday,
still good with that?
turn the cans upside down, otherwise the people tend to use them again.
On Saturday morning?
Good for that.
Saturday after you're
Or,
finished.
I'm sorry,
After the event, yeah.
I'm thinking Sunday morning. Okay.
And I also,
Yeah.
yesterday, we sort of had a pretty solid itinerary, but can we just review the itinerary real quick as far as how the day's gonna play out?
7 a.m. setup.
Yep.
People are able to show up starting at 7 if they'd like, which I'm sure they will start lining up. 9 to 11 is VIP early access. 11 to 9 is the event.
11 to 9?
Ish, yeah. We're
Okay.
hoping to have it done by 9.
Okay, when you say event done by 9, Does that include fireworks completed?
Yes, but that's not a hard time, as indicated every meeting we've had. We're hoping to have it wrapped by 9 with the allowance of up to 10.
Okay, so, but when you say 9 or 10, that's fireworks included being done?
Correct.
Everything? Lights flip back on and we go home?
Correct.
Okay.
And you have 5 other bands playing?
Yes. Starting at noon.
All on the stage?
Yes. We'll also have a live radio broadcast happening all day.
So the other acts going on from 11 to 9, with the main event going on at 7:30, concluding with the fireworks,
Correct. Roughly 7:30.
roughly 7:30.
Right.
They can't be on at 7:30. They play an hour and a half? Right.
Fireworks are the end of the RP
Right.
performance.
When is recycle percussion going on? Approximately? Within a half an hour,
And it's around 7:30.
Okay, they play for an hour and a half, right?
Yep.
And then we're gonna do fireworks right after they conclude.
The
correct?
fireworks are the end of the recycle percussion concert at the
Okay.
same time.
Okay.
I'm guessing your ending time is probably closer to
Just
10.
trying to figure out when it
9:30.
ends, that's all.
Yeah,
By
9:30.
9:30.
Okay.
It's a half-hour show, Wendy? The fireworks.
It's about 20 minutes.
Which they start during the end of the performance.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
And right now, we're just using Tavern 27, Belknap Tire, and the Auto Parts Store as additional parking, along with the other one that is not really affiliated with you.
And Lakeport Marina.
We're gonna mention them as additional parking that's nearby, convenient for people, but it's not official parking on our end.
Okay,
It'd be my preference not to mention it, but
yep.
it's available. We're trying to make it easy for everyone,
Yep.
so they're not aimlessly driving around. So the schools are they're additional parking, unofficial. The engraving place is additional, and the collective 2.5 acres nearby on Union Ave are additional parking. And then anybody else that hasn't contacted us is available, obviously, for parking. I think VIP Tire might be participating, I'm not sure.
Okay. And I just want to reemphasize,
Oh,
it was stated on the original notice of action, and that we've kind of discussed it going all the way through, that there'd be no overnight camping anywhere for the event. Just want to reemphasize that,
Yep,
because there's a whole other bag of worms.
yeah. Will that be like how, I mean, obviously, we're not encouraging that by any means, and we'll be, moving people out of that. We've talked about that. She'll be monitoring her parking lot. I'll be there watching both locations as well. So, but from a city standpoint, is there any sort of repercussion on that, or?
I think the
Since-
city will normally be patrolling the regular streets
Okay.
like normal and taking care of any vagrants, right?
Vagrants?
Campers. Happy
Yes, campers.
Yeah, I'm sure the,
Bow down like that.
Yep, happy campers.
I'm sure the
That's the police department.
PD will
They're
help
not
to have the
smiling on the
cameras.
map.
Yeah.
They're not included. on the
We'll
event.
direct them to, what is it, 78 Chapin Terrace?
What's that?
The campers.
Camping at Chapin Terrace.
No.
He thinks he's funny. Don't worry.
There's an empty house there.
Yeah, empty.
All right, does anybody else have any other concerns?
Clarification on the engraving property.
Yes, I spoke with the owner. They're not going to be part of the event. They're actually coming in to speak with city manager.
No, they had an appointment with me this morning and called to say they were officially part of the event and said they didn't need to have their own application, so that's why I'm asking for.
I just talked to him 5 minutes before literally, I just spoke to him.
Okay, I'll inform them.
Okay,
And did you receive the email that I sent copying?
yeah, Karen forwarded that to me, so I just got that as well, so,
Okay, is that clear on our end?
yeah, we got it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the certificate of liability.
Scott, it's looking, Rob.
Hydration, hot sunny day, it's gonna be 80 and beautiful, not a lot of shade there. What are we doing for keeping people properly hydrated?
food trucks have, they're bringing water and beverages and everything else. That's up to everybody, you know, to,
I think the hint is going towards like a hydration station of some sort. Just
That's a
like,
lot of people trying to buy
like
water.
free water, like maybe, I don't know, what kind of, not free, I don't know. Hey, you know what?
Case and
A
Keg
water
has quite a
station's fine, but-
selection.
I don't, maybe a sprinkler, I don't know.
There's a hand washing station.
I'm just, I mean,
And adding to the
Crack a
volume
fire
of their
hydrant open.
crosswalk.
There's a cove right there.
oh,
They can jump right in.
I've
We
paid,
sell beverages in the gift shop at the hotel as well.
awesome,
I'll
thank
get some
you.
extra water.
Okay,
And escrow of funds,
I'm getting there.
okay? You were asking further questions, I thought you were done.
I just have one quick question on the lot itself. How are you gonna secure it the night before? On your website, Wendy,
Yep,
or on your Facebook? There's a post that says, "Now with the weather showing 80 degrees and sunny, tens of thousands are expected. We have fans already planning to sleep overnight, and we're bringing in many fun surprises." So it's a two-part question. What are the other fun surprises? And what are we gonna do about preventing people from sleeping there overnight?
Well, people have been renting hotel rooms from us as well as other locations, I think, is what they mean by sleeping over. That's what I think.
I know nobody's been invited to the band house to sleep over outside of our circle, but, you know, people have mentioned that they're gonna camp out. We're not encouraging that. Obviously, like I said, Michelle and I have had that conversation, as well as Melissa this morning, making sure that we're gonna be, not encouraging that and removing people on properties. So,
Can we maybe not put posts out like that?
I can't,
That's pretty
honestly, I
desolate.
mean, that, I can't control Facebook. The boys
This-
more
this is
so than
posted by them.
I understand, but I mean,
That's
this isn't
detrimental when it's
official,
almost encouraging people to sleep over.
right? I mean, we also have fans say, you know, various things that we can't control the fans either. This is an official meeting. I'm standing here before you as a representative, letting you know what our intentions are, what the plan is, and everything else. So social media, I would prefer not be taken into consideration with this meeting and anything that, and, you know, that we're trying to have official.
Well, it's official because you're putting this information out there on social media. That's my concern. I understand Facebook, but
Right.
you guys are putting this information out there and it's encouraging people to sleep over. And if we've got 5,000 people sleeping over in Lakeport, it's gonna be an issue. You know, so I would just ask that you maybe talk to whoever runs your social media account, and that stuff does not get put out there because it's gonna encourage the activity rather than deter it.
I'm sure you guys can.
And the other thing is maybe putting a post up showing optional places to go camping for, like,
Yep.
Gunstock, locations of hotel, like phone numbers for hotels if they want to stay up.
Your
or
cell phone number.
Locations for camping, like official campsites.
I'll give it to you. It might not work.
Send him to my room.
You have two beds.
Anything else?
Send that to Joe.
All right, I just have two more things.
Yep.
So we have an estimate for an escrow agreement that we would require from you. I don't know if you've been, I'm sure you've seen everybody's, but it comes to a total of $27,478.60.
That Sanborn is taken out of that.
Yeah. I have $3,800 for the fire department, $78.60 for 3 hours of the building inspector's time, and for the police department, I have $23,600.
Okay, no, I have not seen that. I saw this morning when Sanborn was included and PD was not.
So we just took out parks, and I just got the police departments, so I got the
And that's
total.
based on how many detail?
Is that a total of 7 for 20 total?
20 officers.
20 officers.
7 crews.
20 officers and 7 cruisers.
And that's based on your projection of how many people in the crowd?
Same.
Anywhere from 5 to 10 or whatever it develops. Our goal would be to not use that many officers.
Right.
But the unpredictability of the plan and the event, and the stuff that's posted on here, that this is gonna be the largest event in New Hampshire. So we need contingencies. Our goal would be to minimize staffing and send people home, not use those numbers. But based on that's what our estimate is at this point.
And it's based on 5 to 10-ish?
Correct.
So I've got all that paperwork here. I can get your copy right here, actually, for
Okay.
everything. I can give it to you. Just in
PD.
case.
Oh, the number that you said for the stage inspection was how much? Did you say 7860 as in 7,860?
No, $78.60.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, are you providing and making the stage?
I was looking at that going, what is that number?
I know, okay.
That's better.
Can you just pass it down?
I know, I was like, I see stage inspections, and that's gross.
When is the earliest you think you can deposit the money for the escrow agreement?
I will have to have that conversation with our team shortly.
Because I know
This-
originally on the 9th, when we had the meeting at Public Works, I know we didn't have the full number as of that moment.
Correct.
The city manager wanted to do by COB today. And I want to know how close we can make it to that projection.
Right, well, the one that we've been waiting on and that we knew was going to be the bulk was coming from the police department, and I'm just learning that as we speak. So I don't want to speak on our behalf until I have that appropriate conversation.
So it would be tomorrow by noon time, by high noon?
I'll have an answer to you by tomorrow noon. Yes.
It's not acceptable to the city, so we said very clearly last week that we were looking for an escrow by today.
Right.
I answered to the mayor and the council, who were adamant that these would not be on the taxpayers. The fact that you didn't get a police number until this morning also had to do with an answer last week that on Monday last week, the event was on Union Ave, and that's what we were planning for. Late Wednesday, that changed. This caused staff to go ahead and have to reconfigure the dynamics of this event and where they're staffing. So we're only gonna keep the escrow and bill for what's used. We'll return whatever's not used. We need funds. I had said today, I'm going no later than tomorrow. We're not going into this event on Friday or Saturday without the city having an appropriate amount of
That's fine.
protection on it.
Yeah, I said I'll have an answer to you.
Well, having an answer versus having the escrow are two different things.
Okay.
We need deposited funds with the city no later than close of business tomorrow,
Close the business?
4 o'clock.
Okay.
And again,
And-
we're not keeping it all. We will tally up what we do like we do for any event and refund whatever's not utilized.
I understand.
And give you the breakdown.
And I know you weren't here for yesterday's meeting, but just to bring it back, we didn't make the official change. We went through the appropriate protocol as I thought was appropriate from our standpoint, having the conversation with Matt, asking if it was a good idea. He thought it was great. So then we wanted to get PD's blessing on that, if moving it off the street was a good thing for the city, because that was the intent.
And the chief shared that with me, and then, but I also got a call from the mayor, and the department heads all report to and work for me. So the mayor calling me late Wednesday, saying he was just told that the event's not happening. I called both chiefs. I called the planning director, I called the public works director and said, if you're still planning on detour signs and road closures for here, there, and the other place, it's Wednesday at 6 o'clock, this has now changed. So everyone's working very hard on this.
I understand.
We want this to be successful.
I understand.
I need escrowed funds by the close of business, and we'll refund whatever's not utilized to you.
Anything else today?
Does somebody else have anything else?
Good right now.
We hope that this is one of many events that we do in Laconia, and I hope that this, I know obviously yesterday, as I clearly indicated I was not prepared for, we did not officially change it. We weren't canceling it. It was an appropriate conversation with the mayor, asking what his thoughts are on that and what it would mean as far as the city is concerned, and would that be of benefit. He was excited about it. So that's my perspective. That is what I endured. It wasn't to piss anyone off. It wasn't to cause extra, jobs for everybody and running around last minute. It was simply to alleviate some concerns and really take into consideration and be mindful that homecoming is happening, and so is the Blues Festival, and we're right in the middle of that. So we were hoping to, solve a problem, not create more. So obviously, like I said yesterday, not knowing that that was what I was walking into, And now, today, this is why you are presented with packets, because I was prepared for that. Same thing, I'm not trying to hold escrow from you, the PD number, that's the first I'm seeing it. I want to make sure that I do my due diligence on my end and have that appropriate conversation with our team as I would need to beforehand. So if he's requiring a deposit by 4, I will have a phone call into you by noon tomorrow as to that deposit. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page internally.
Okay.
Okay?
My last concern is a certificate of occupancy for your building,
Yep. Separate than the event.
separate than the event,
Okay.
but still key for success for both.
Right.
So
Have-
I have the form right here.
Everything's signed, correct?
No.
Who's
That's the one
sick?
that I emailed you, that you have to walk around to the different departments.
So,
And we had all but the last
are you,
two.
so you've got one of these routed already?
You started that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that we didn't, it hasn't come full circle yet, so that's.
Oh,
We're scheduled at 11 tomorrow.
Okay. So,
that's already in
but it's
circulation.
but it's being worked on. That's what I care about.
Oh, yeah, that's been
Okay.
in circulation for, at least a week now. I know it doesn't seem like a lot for you.
Okay.
It's a lot for me.
No other concerns from anybody else?
Insurance certificate, they have that?
You guys have the
We have that.
COI.
So we're amending the application site, the event site to O-Pee-Chee Inn. So I would recommend that if we were to move forward or in any direction on this application, we amend the original notice of action to include two counters at the entrance of the store. We need to recalculate for occupancy limits for where everybody's going to be. We still need a letter from Robbins Auto Parts, and I guess it's waiting for corporate, so we need that.
If we don't have an answer on that, we don't have to use them. They're a spillover for.
So we're gonna put the same timeline on that as the escrow agreement, and that will be for close of business tomorrow.
And if they're not included
If-
in that, then we can omit them out of the.
If we don't have that, then you can't use their property.
Cool.
We have the handicap bus anyways.
We don't really need it. It was for vendors in the first place.
Molten Gate is to be closed and unsecured for emergency access. Volunteers will be wearing bright neon shirts that will state event staff. We need lighting for Tavern 27 parking area for pedestrian safety. We also need a light at the intersection for pedestrian safety.
On Parade Road, yes. It's not really an intersection.
You should have
No,
one
one at
at
Parade-
Parade Road, the
and
ones
then-
in the parking lot at Tavern 27, one at the intersection of Railroad and Elm Street,
Okay,
and then you should have one at the intersection, pedestrian crossing going across Union to get to the Chaos and Kindness store.
I'd put it right where the store is, or
Yeah.
in that area.
okay. And the police department is going to be putting out no parking notices on some of those side streets.
Yeah, we'll talk afterwards, figure out game plan for which
All
side
right.
streets.
And we have an escrow agreement and payment will be made by 4 PM tomorrow on the 18th of September. Any other recommendations for?
I'm good right now.
Good.
Good.
With that, I'm willing to accept a motion. If there's no other questions, comments, or concerns.
Why are you looking at me?
I
You
move,
always make the motions.
Are you making a motion to,
what you said.
Ditto.
I'll second.
Approve what Rob
To-
just listed out.
to
Approve
move,
all the.
to move the amendments to
Yeah.
the notice of action from the 23rd of August for application PL 2019-0114? Is there anybody that wishes to second the motion?
Second it.
Second by Charlie Rovo. All voting in favor, please raise your hands. Any voting against, please raise your hands. Let the record show, all voted in favor to amend the notice of action from August 23rd, 2019, to amend the location of application PL 2019-0114 SE. Does anybody else have any business to come before the board? I'm willing to accept a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Time Amy speaks.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. So we will give you an updated notice of action as soon as we can possibly get that out. So please be in contact with us by noon time tomorrow so that we can address the escrow.
So is this officially approved?
So we still have to have that escrow agreement by 4 PM tomorrow, or
Right.
none of this happens.
Right.
So that'll probably give me like 20.
And that is the last contingency?
So that is the last thing that I have to have. If I don't have that, there's nothing.
Right.
Okay.
That's fine. I just don't want to make that.
It's not your money.
Exactly.